Hi guys, gonna have a quick look at the car for basic tuning. This is not really a how-to professional guide. If you want that, go look on YouTube. There's some guys on there who know absolutely everything about how to get this all set up and tuned right for the fuel and air mixtures. Someone in particular who knows his stuff, AC Dodd, if you go watch his channel, he's got like an on-road tuning segment, and you can pick up loads of stuff from that. I'm just going to share some of the stuff I've learned over the years, and just basically to help dial it into a acceptable level, and maybe get rid of some major errors or issues. And it's all going to be focused on this car. So it's a 998 HS4. It's a Mini 25, so it's a 1980s, mid to late 80s kind of setup. So we're going to have to cut this video up into 3 parts, otherwise it's going to be too long. First part, we'll just talk about air, and in the second part, the timing, and in the third part we'll talk about the electronics of the coil and the distributor, spark plugs, etc. So sorry for cutting it up into 3, but otherwise it'd be way too long, and I just want to make sure you get the information in a way that hopefully you can remember some of it. Right, let's get into it, and we'll go through kind of each section. So first area really to or that I'm going to talk about is obviously air. So what do we mean? Well, we've got air filter, that's the first thing, and in this particular one I have got K&N air filter in the original housing. Now the absolute sort of best airflow would be with a cone air filter direct on the back of the HS4. However, you will get quite a lot of induction noise with that, and the second point is obviously it doesn't look original when you lift the bonnet, which this car is obviously set up to look fairly original, but a cone filter on the back there would be good. So inside is a K&N filament, million-mile warranty. So what that means is you have to clean it and oil it. So let me just show you, 1 second. Two products you use for that. So it's this one, which is the oil, and this one, which is the cleaner. And yeah, you basically follow the instructions on the back. Oh, you follow the instructions on the back. It's not particularly difficult. Get that filter cleaned out, and it will end up being a sort of reddy, purpley colour when you've finished. Maybe I can just show you. So just a bit of white on the sandpaper there. If we just see, the oil is red. Right. So here's a cone K&N air filter that I could use on the back of here for a bit more performance. Well, 1 horsepower maybe. But just show you this so you can see the slight reddish tinge to the filter. This one's been oiled recently and is ready to go. So this red colour will start disappearing, and then you need to do that, I don't know, once a year or something, like you would at service, just to refresh this and keep them good to go. Yeah, you have to buy the oil, but you don't have to buy new air filters, so you know, it isn't a particularly expensive thing to be doing. One other thing you can do to your airbox is you can drill some holes in the bottom of your airbox around in a circle, probably at the back, obviously on the underside down here, and you know, just drill sort of 12mm, 15mm holes around there, So that's between the outside of the air box and the outside of the air filter. Obviously you don't want to drill them in the middle, because then you will be bypassing the filter completely. Okay, here you can see the extra holes drilled in the back of the air box, just allowing additional airflow outside of the filter, as mentioned. Originally these cars pick up their air from here, and that is to help when it's cold. It picks up off of this little corrugated piece here, off the manifold, so some slightly heated air from the manifold. And there's a bimetallic strip in there that goes up and down, which rattles really annoyingly. I need to do something about that. But that strip then goes down when it's hot, and it sucks in cooler air from the top. But this is all quite restrictive, so if you drill some holes around the back here in the bottom, and yeah, I'll try and show a little bit, then you can get a little better airflow. So you've got the air coming in there. Now the air wants to come into the engine, and you need to be having really good control over that mixture. Now with an HS4 Carb that's done 60, 70, 80, 100,000 miles, you are going to get wear with that carburetor, specifically on what's called the spindle. Now I'm going to insert a video where I've looked at the spindle on this car, but basically this is an HS4 carburetor here, and the spindle is this piece here, and it goes through the carburetor and controls the butterfly valve, open and close the butterfly valve when you do the throttle. And there are bearings in the throttle body, not throttle body, in the carburetor body, that are supposed to have a pretty much airtight fit on this either end of this spindle. And what happens over time is that wears, and you end up with either a step in the spindle, or obviously the bushing is just worn out here. Replacing the bushing, that's a machine shop job really. You can't really do that yourself. Maybe with a pillar drill, if you were very careful and knew exactly what you were doing, you'd be able to. But pretty much it's a machine shop job. Replacing the spindle, that you can do easily, and it's fairly cheap, and actually most of the wear happens on the spindle. So I'll show that in the video now. Right, I want to show you a couple of things I've changed on the carburetor. So this is my HS4 carburetor body, and there's two pieces I've changed due to wear, to see if we can improve the response and the way the carb's behaving. Basically, this is the spindle, and the reason to change this is because there's quite a lot of wear on it. I'll try and show you just where it goes. This end's okay, but this end, there's a dark line there. That sound is my fingernail stepping over that line. So that wear shoulder or wear line there is will be causing an air leak around the bushing, and that's air that the carburetor doesn't really know that it's supplying, so it messes up the mixture. Obviously the harder the engine sucks, the more extra air it will pull through that bushing, and probably a little bit through the other side as well. Anyway, so we changed that. To do that, this washer on the end here with the two ears, you just have to fold them back and then undo the nut, and then those two screws you take out, and that gets your butterfly out. And on the back of them you can probably see the two slots. When you fit the new screws, you need to open those up so that the screws don't fall out and go into your engine and ruin your day. So there's your butterfly there with the new screws in, and if I can get you an angle, needs to be closed obviously. Let's just tweak the throttle closed. Maybe you can see down there the screw's been opened up so it won't come out. So that's one piece, and then the other piece in the float bowl here, the jet, the seat. So just take those 3 screws out, then you'll have to pull out, there's like a little pin, you have to pull it out to get the float out, and then once you've done that, this is inside, and you pretty much just put a socket over it. I used a 9mm, but it's probably not 9mm, it's probably Imperial. Anyway, undo that, and then this is the little that sits in the seat, and if you can see again, there's a little wear step on that angled piece, and that can cause issues with the fueling, wandering of the carburetor, idle maybe. Anyway, it should be perfect. It shouldn't have this little step in. That obviously sits inside there. They're quite cheap, so I just, while I had the carb open, I just fitted a new one. So that's those 2 pieces. And the only other thing that you might have spotted, because I haven't changed the bushings on the carb, which is what you should really do when you put in the new spindle, although most of the wear was on the spindle, because when I fitted the new spindle it hardly moves at all. But I've just popped over a couple of valve stem oil seals, one on each end, because they happen to be the perfect size, just to help keep that air tight seal. Otherwise that's absolutely fine. They don't really cause much additional friction, but this is under the spring tension anyway, so it moves quite easily. So hopefully that's going to help with the carb. And I got a couple of needles. I've got the original AAC and I've got an AAU from the stage 1, so we'll try both of those, see if that helps out. Yeah, we'll find out how it runs. Just quickly show this when you're fitting your butterfly valve back in. Make sure you've got your light source coming through the back of the carburetor. You need to get this in so when it's pushed closed, you've got the smallest amount of light leakage around. Make sure you got your throttle idle screw all the way out of the way, and then push this throttle lever down as far as it will go, so it's closed. Get that so it's seated as well as you possibly can. Obviously if it's too restrictive, well, one, you've got the little hole in the bottom of the valve in this carb, not all of them have that, but also you would just do the idle screw and that will open it up. What you can't deal with is if you get that out of shape and you can't close it off enough, even with the idle screw backed right out, you'll end up with way too high a idle that you can't bring down. So yeah, just get that in as central as possible when you're fitting this. So you just want to make sure all the air leaks are eradicated. As I said here, make sure you've got new gaskets. You can get gaskets really cheap. Just get yourself a selection of the gaskets that you might require to sort your engine out. I think these are HST ones, these are HS4 ones for this carburetor. There's 2 or 3 required, one between the elbow and the carb, one between the carb and the insulator block, one between the insulator block and the manifold. Make sure you've got an insulator block fitted and your carb isn't straight on the back of the intake manifold. Right, so now that we have eradicated additional air being drawn in after effectively you've set the mixture, if you get additional air coming in through the spindle, that's happening after you've tried to set up the mixture, and the amount of air that gets drawn in is completely different depending on the amount of suction that is being caused by the engine. So you need to make sure that that is not causing an issue, otherwise it's just going to upset your air fuel mixture. Sorry for cutting it up into 3, but otherwise it'd be way too long, and I just want to make sure you get the information in a way that hopefully you can remember some of it.